So over here you can see that I have a photo opened up in Camera Raw in Adobe Photoshop Elements. And if I were to go around onto the basic editing area right here and then increase the exposure, you can see that the details of the photo is lost. Everything is white right here. And when you're editing, you don't really notice by the naked eye on whether the details has been lost or not. So in that case, what you can do is you can use the histogram right here, which denotes like how much of a white spot over here is there in the picture, and there's dark spot right here, as you can see. So most of the color on the picture itself is on the bright area, and hence the histogram is showing that right here. You can go around and click on this little dot right here, and it'll show out the exact areas which has been overexposed, meaning they are completely white and there's only white pixel right there. And you can see that there's a lot of it right here. So if I were to bring down the exposure, you can see that now as it decreases now, you can see that these are the areas, these red mark areas are the only ones with a lot of exposure. So you want to make sure that they don't actually go around and touch the max area right here. So you can see that now as I do this, it is much more safer. But as I bring the exposure down, you can see that there's the dark area as well, and sometimes the pixels are completely black. And then in that case, you can turn on the shadow clipping over here as well. So if I were to really bring down the exposure, you see the areas which are completely black. So what you want to do while you're editing is bring out into a balance. So you can go around over here, work around with the highlights, as you can see right here, work around with the shadows right here, and increase and decrease the contrast to make sure that they do not let's say for example, go beyond the bright parts and the dark parts right here. That is what the histogram is for. You can go around over here and increase out the exposure. Let's say for example, just like this, and some of it is bright right here, as you can see right here. So you can go around and then work around with the shadows right here, work around with the contrast right here, just like this, to balance everything out right here, and maybe decrease out the whites right here, just like this, and decrease out the highlights because that is already there. So that is how you can go around and bring it to balance. And if you don't want to see this anymore, you can also disable the indicators out and then work around with this until you get the desired detail that you want. But you can see that most of the details are now preserved because the histogram itself is not too much onto the right or too much onto the left, although it is a bit on the brighter side, as you can see. And that is how you can work around with the raw image histogram inside of Camera Raw in Adobe Photoshop Elements. So I hope you guys learned something as always. And as always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.